Hey everyone, and welcome back to our History on This Day series. Today, we're turning the calendar to January 12th, a day that gave the world one of its most rugged and celebrated literary voices. On this day in 1876, in San Francisco, California, John Griffith Chaney was born. You probably know him by a different name, Jack London. His life story reads like one of his own adventure novels, filled with struggle, ambition, and an unyielding spirit. London's early years were anything but easy. Born into poverty, he had to be tough and self-reliant from a very young age. He worked a series of grueling jobs to help support his family, from a cannery worker to a newspaper boy. But these experiences weren't just hardships. They were the raw material for his future stories. They gave him a first-hand look at the lives of the working class and the harsh realities of the world, themes that would become central to his writing. As a teenager, his thirst for adventure became impossible to ignore. He bought a small sloop, the Razzle Dazzle, and became an oyster pirate on the San Francisco Bay. Yes, you heard that right. An actual pirate. It was a dangerous but thrilling life. Later, he even switched sides and joined the California Fish Patrol to hunt down the very same pirates he once sailed with. This period gave him an intimate knowledge of the sea, sailing, and the kind of daring characters who lived on the edge of the law. But the call of the wild was about to get much louder. In 1897, the Klondike Gold Rush was in full swing, and like thousands of other hopefuls, a 21-year-old Jack London headed north to the Yukon Territory in Canada. He didn't strike it rich with gold. In fact, the harsh northern winter took a severe toll on his health. He developed scurvy, which famously caused him to lose 4 of his front teeth. He returned home a year later, penniless and in poor health. But he brought back something far more valuable than gold: stories. The Yukon was a crucible that forged his literary destiny. The brutal cold, the majestic and indifferent wilderness, the desperate struggle for survival, and the complex relationship between humans. Animals and nature, these experiences were seared into his memory. They became the foundation for the tales that would make him famous. Back in California, London committed himself to becoming a writer with ferocious discipline. He set a goal to write at least 1,000 words every single day, and he stuck to it relentlessly. His hard work began to pay off. He started selling his stories to magazines, and his name began to gain recognition. He drew upon his own life, his time at sea, his days in the Yukon, his observations of social inequality, to create stories that were authentic, raw, and powerful. Then, in 1903, he published the novel that would cement his legacy forever, The Call of the Wild. It's the unforgettable story of Buck, a domesticated dog stolen from his comfortable California home and thrown into the brutal life of a sled dog. During the Klondike Gold Rush, as Buck endures hardship and cruelty, he slowly sheds the layers of civilization and rediscovers his primal, wolf-like instincts. The novel was an instant sensation. It wasn't just an animal story. It was a profound exploration of heredity versus environment, civilization versus the wild. Readers were captivated by its raw power and its unflinching look at the laws of nature. It has since become an American classic, translated into dozens of languages, and never out of print. Following the success of The Call of the Wild, London's fame exploded. He became one of the first American authors to become a true international celebrity and a millionaire from his writing alone. He was prolific, publishing over 50 books and hundreds of short stories and articles in his relatively short career. He continued to explore similar themes in other famous works. White Fang, published in 1906, can be seen as a companion to The Call of the Wild. It tells the story of a wild wolf-dog hybrid who is slowly and painfully domesticated. It's a powerful look at the taming influence of love and kindness, a mirror image of Buck's journey back to the wild. But London wasn't just an adventure writer. He was a passionate and outspoken socialist, and his political beliefs were deeply woven into his work. His 1908 novel, The Iron Heel, is a dystopian story that imagines the rise of an oppressive oligarchy in the United States. It's considered one of the earliest examples of the modern dystopian genre and influenced later writers like George Orwell. He also wrote The People of the Abyss, a journalistic investigation into the crushing poverty he witnessed in the East End of London, showcasing his deep empathy for the downtrodden. His personal life was just as adventurous, and sometimes turbulent as his fiction. He was a war correspondent during the Russo-Japanese War. He attempted to sail around the world in a custom-built boat called the Snark, and he established a large ranch in Glen Ellen, California, which he called Beauty Ranch. He was a pioneer in sustainable agriculture and ranch management, experimenting with innovative farming techniques. His dream was to create a self-sufficient and efficient agricultural enterprise, a project he poured his heart and his fortune into. Sadly, Jack London's life, lived at such a frantic pace, was cut short. He suffered from numerous health problems, including kidney disease, and was in chronic pain. On November 22, 1916, he died at his beloved ranch at the young age of 40. The exact cause of his death remains a subject of debate. But what is certain is that the world lost a literary giant. Jack London's influence is undeniable. He bridged the gap between 19th century Romanticism and 20th century realism. He wrote stories that were both thrilling adventures and profound social commentaries. He inspired countless readers to dream of adventure, to question society, and to appreciate the untamed beauty of the natural world. From The Call of the Wild to White Fang to his powerful social critiques, his work continues to resonate with audiences today. So on this January 12th, let's remember Jack London, a man who was an oyster pirate, a gold prospector, a war correspondent, a rancher, and above all, a master storyteller. He lived a life as big and bold as the stories he told, leaving behind a legacy that is as wild and enduring as the landscapes he so vividly described. If you haven't read The Call of the Wild, or it's been a while, maybe today's the day to pick it up and answer the call for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me for this look back at history. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more stories from the past. I'll see you in the next one.